think one of the most pressing issues for Western organisations in China at the moment is we've seen under Xi Jinping, the president who came into power in 2012, a perceived tightening up of the intellectual environment in China. We've seen the arrests of lawyers, for example, greater emphasis on ideological control of universities, and we've got a new law that potentially makes it harder for foreign NGOs to operate in China. How does this affect your operations? How are you dealing with this tighter ideological environment?
Well, David, when NYU was approached to create Shanghai as a degree-granting campus in China, one of the absolutely inviolable principles that NYU insisted on was complete academic freedom, complete academic control over its activities on the campus. And that was a promise that was made by Shanghai, by the Ministry of Education in China, recognizing that this is unusual, that NYU Shanghai is an experiment for China in developing different kinds of education. And that's a promise that has been honored. It's been fully respected so far.
What about your Chinese partners, though? Has it caused any problems for them?
I haven't heard directly about any problems with East China Normal University, and I haven't heard about any problems for the city of Shanghai or for the district of Pudong. I hear the same reports in the press that everyone hears about instances at other universities in China, at public universities. But so far the commitments that were made to us have been fully honored, and so we're okay. Now, you did mention the NGO law, the proposed NGO law, which would have put serious constraints on our ability to operate as a university. And so we and other universities did file comments when the draft law was issued, arguing that it should not apply to universities. It was motivated by a concern that foreign NGOs in other parts of the world had led movements to overthrow the local governments, and that was what was clearly troubling the Chinese authorities. It wasn't universities that were doing that in those situations, and so it really doesn't make sense to try to apply this kind of law to universities.
Have you seen any chilling of discussion in the classroom amongst Chinese students and Chinese-born academics?
No, not in our classrooms anyway. Our students are pretty vocal, and so we have a full and free discussion of all issues, even issues that are thought to be sensitive in China.
So one of the key points about your model is it's roughly half and half Chinese and non-Chinese students on campus, and you really try and integrate them, and you actually get them to share rooms, is that right? And this is meant to foster a genuine exchange of ideas and a genuine, I suppose, confrontation, or a slightly softer term, between two different cultures. What have you seen come out of that? Have minds changed about political systems, or has there genuinely been a kind of cross-cultural fertilization, or have people sort of had their views hardened about different opinions between these two countries?
Well, I would say so far so good. We're only in our third year of operations, but one of the things that we impress on our students from the day they arrive is our ambition to nurture a cosmopolitan spirit within the community, one that is committed to certain universal values at the same time that it is respectful of differences and respectful of different approaches to achieving those values. And so we do, as you say, have half of our students from China, half from the rest of the world, and that enables us to assign roommates so that every Chinese student has a non-Chinese roommate, every non-Chinese student has a Chinese roommate, and we tell the students from day one that what is crucial, if we're going to take advantage of the intellectual opportunities that diversity provides, is to ensure that they become one student body rather than splitting into a group of Chinese students and a group of non-Chinese students.
Do you think that happens quite a lot on campuses in Europe and America?
Yes, I think it is a big issue, especially in the United States. I don't know European campuses as well. But in the United States right now, if you go to most campuses, you find that there is tremendous diversity right now, diversity of race, diversity of nationality. But many, many students are not taking advantage of it. Many are, but many, many students are spending their entire period as students mostly cloistered with people who are similar to themselves. And that's just terribly unfortunate. I think one of the advantages of being as small as we are and being able to make the kind of roommate assignments that we do is that we have been able to transcend that, and we have been able to really push students to understand cultural difference and to understand where it comes from and to learn how to be effective working in multicultural environments.
So friendship groups on campus are almost always cross-national.
Yeah, I mean, friendships, romantic relationships, they seem to cross national boundaries in a very nice way.
We're also seeing Chinese universities try, well, as Chinese students think, actually maybe I can have just as good an experience in China, perhaps for less money.
Well, we don't see it as a threat. We're a very, very small school. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of applicants for only 150 seats for China. So if other universities want to move in this direction, we think it's terrific. And we're happy to work together, compare notes, and help them, because we think the larger project is to help nurture this ability for people to work together across national boundaries. And the more universities that take that as a serious objective, the happier we are.
I mean, we've seen a number of Western universities set up in China, in the UK, Nottingham, and also Liverpool. Can you see more Western universities continue to set up in China, or is it just about full by now?
Well, I don't think it's full by any means. I do think it is a tremendous investment of energy for a university to set up a degree-granting campus in another country. NYU has experience doing that. It has a separate degree-granting campus in Abu Dhabi. It's done it in Shanghai now. Duke has now set up a degree-granting campus in Kunshan. And I just read that Juilliard is going to be setting up one in Tianjin. Those are schools, each of whom has decided that it's important for academic reasons to make this investment of energy, and but it's not the norm. And I don't think the country is full by any means, but I think it's still going to be few and far between that universities go all the way to setting up a degree-granting campus. Now, I think a lot of universities want to have some kind of presence in China. A lot of universities are opening up offices where alumni can gather or students can go through and things like that. I think that will be much more common.
And just finally, what are your plans in terms of expansion or consolidation over the next 5 years? Are you taking more students, more faculty, or, expanding your campus physically? What will things look like in 5 years' time?
Well, we're growing. We started with 300 students per class, 150 Chinese, 150 international, and that will grow to 500 per class over 5 years. And so we'll have 2,000 undergraduate students total. Now, our students, the first 2 years are with us in Shanghai, and then in their junior year, they circulate through other campuses in the New York University system. But students from New York will come and study in Shanghai at that time. So we'll have about 2,000 students, about 250 faculty. We'll be a healthy-sized university.
Okay, Professor Lehman, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.